safe haven. So this one, I'm really excited to read this one. I'm probably going to read this one very soon. I didn't watch the movie. My mother watched the movie, and she begged me to watch it with her, but I haven't read it yet. So I wasn't going to spoil the book for me if I haven't watched the movie. So don't spoil anything for me in the comments. So, safe haven. So, I want to know that all my books are hardcover. I only buy hardcover now. That's a new thing my mom got me started on. She passed these books on to me, and from there I just started buying all hardcover. So the next book I have is one I've read, and this is Dear John. And this is kind of an old one. You can see how young he looks. And this one basically, I don't really want to give anything away, so I think I'll read them all. I think I'll read all the jackets, just so I don't give anything away, because I'm very bad about giving spoilers. When Savannah Lynn Curtis comes into his life, John Tyree knows he is ready to turn over a new leaf. An angry rebel, he had enlisted in the army after high school, not knowing what else to do. Then, during a furlough, he meets the girl of his dreams, Savannah Lynn Curtis, studying college in North Carolina, working for Habitat for Humanity. And totally unprepared for the passionate attraction she feels for John Tyree. The attraction is mutual and quickly grows to the kind of love that leaves Savannah vowing to wait for John while he finishes his tour of duty. And John realizing that he's ready to settle down with the young woman who has captured his heart. Neither can foresee that 9/11 is about to change the world, and will force John to risk losing every hope and dream that he's ever had. Like so many proud men and women, John must choose between loving country and like all those left behind. Savannah must decide to wait on or move on. How do we choose wisely? How can we face loss without giving up on love? Now, when he finally returns to North Carolina, John will discover that loving his Savannah will force him to make the hardest decision of his life. The extraordinary moving story, Dear John explores the complexities of love, how it survives time and heartbreak, and how it transforms us forever. So, Dear John. Next we have Knights and Rodaneth. At 45, Adrienne Willis must rethink her entire life when her husband abandons her for a younger woman. Reeling with heartache and in search of further respite, she flees to a small coastal town of Rodaneth, North Carolina, to tend to a friend's inn for the weekend. But when a major storm starts moving in, it appears that Adrienne's perfect getaway will be ruined until a guest named Paul Flanner arrives. At 54, Paul has sold his medical practice and came to Rodaneth to escape his own shattered past. Now, with the storm closing in, two wounded people will turn to each other for comfort, and in one weekend set in motion feelings that will resonate throughout the rest of their lives. In Knights and Rodaneth, Nicholas Sparks has written a timeless love story, reaffirming his reputation as America's foremost chronicler of the heart. Knights and Rodaneth. It's kind of an old one too, so he's kind of young. The next one I started to read, then I kind of just got lost and I didn't read any more of it. But I'm going to read it definitely. I guess I've seen a movie and it ruined it for me, but it's very good. This is kind of a newer one. It's the lucky one. When U.S. Marine Logan Thibault films a photograph of a smiling young woman half buried in the dirt during his first 30 tour of duty in Iraq, his first instinct is to toss it aside. Instead, he brings it back to the base for someone to claim. But when no one does, he finds himself always carrying the photo in his pocket. Soon, Thibault experiences a sudden streak of luck, winning poker games and even surviving deadly combat that kills two of his closest buddies. Only his best friend Victor seems to have an explanation for his good fortune: the photograph in his lucky charm. Back home in Colorado, Thibault can't seem to get the photo and the woman in it out of his mind. Believing that she somehow holds the key to his destiny, he sets out on a journey across the country to find her, never expecting the strong, vulnerable woman he encounters in Hampton, North Carolina, Elizabeth, a divorced mother with a young son, to be the girl he's been waiting for his whole life to meet. York Times bestselling author of Message in a Bottle and A Walk to Remember, generates genuine emotional power as he chronicles one man's unwavering devotion to find his way back into the heart of the only woman he's ever loved. Allie and Noah's inspiring love affair in the Notebook stole our hearts and became one of the most cherished stories in the last 20 years. Now their son-in-law, Wilson Lewis, faces his own challenges. After 30 years of marriage to his wife, Jane, Wilson is forced to admit the romance is soured, and facing his daughter's upcoming wedding, he realizes how close he is to losing to Jane. Then, though he loves and adores his wife with all his heart, expressing his feelings is difficult, and he often stumbles in his attempts. So he turns to the shining example of his in-laws' 50-year love affair, determined to make his life fall and live with them again. So, the wedding. I'm excited about this one because it involves the Notebook as well, so I love the Notebook. Next we have The Rescue. This is kind of an older one, and I do want to know every 10 minutes the camera is going to change because my phone only lets me to record 10 minutes at a time, so I have to record 10 minutes, put it on my computer, delete it, record 10 minutes, delete it, put it on my computer, you know. So I have The Rescue. When confronted by raging fires or deadly accidents, volunteer fireman Tyler McGadden feels compelled to take terrifying risks no one else in the department would ever take to save lives. But there is one leap of faith Taylor can't bring himself to make. He can't fall in love. For all his adult years, Taylor has sought out women who need to be rescued, women he leaves as soon as their crisis is over, as soon as the relationship starts to become really intimate. Then one day, a raging record-breaking storm hits his small southern town. Denise Holton, a young single mother, is driving through it when her car gets off the road. With her is her 4-year-old son, Kyle, a boy with severe learning disabilities, and for whom she has sacrificed everything. Unconscious and bleeding, she but not Kyle will be found by Taylor McGadden. And when she wakes, the chilling truth becomes clear to both of them. Kyle is gone. During the search for Kyle, the connection and lifeline between Taylor and Denise takes root. Taylor doesn't know that his rescue will be different from all the others, demanding far more than raw physical courage, that it would lead him to the possibility of his own rescue from a life lived without love, that it will require him to open doors to his past and that were slammed shut by pain, that it will dare him to live life to the fullest by daring to love. So that's The Rescue. Next we have The Choice. It's kind of a newer one. Travis Parker has everything a man can want: a good job, loyal friends, even a waterfront home in a small town, North Carolina. In full pursuit of the good life, boating, swimming, and regular barbecues with his close buddies, he holds the vague conviction that a serious relationship with a woman would only cramp his style. That is until Gabby Holland moves in next door. Despite his attempts to be neighborly, the attractive redhead seems to have a grudge against him, and the presence of her longtime boyfriend couldn't help. Still, Travis can't stop trying to date himself with his new neighbor, and his persistent efforts lead them both to the doorstep of a journey they neither could have foreseen, spanning the eventful years of young love, marriage, and family. The Choice ultimately confronts us with the most heart-wrenching question of all: how far should you go to keep the hope of love alive? This one sounds really good. I haven't read this one yet. So The Choice. This is probably my favorite. This is A Bend in the Road. It's kind of an older one. Miles Ryan's life seemed to end in the day his wife was killed in a hit-and-run accident 2 years ago. Missy had been his first love, and Miles fervently believes she will be his last. As deputy sheriff in the North Carolina town of New Bern, Ryan not only grieves for Missy, but longs to bring the unknown driver to justice. Then Miles meets Sarah Andrews, the second-grade teacher of his son Jonah. Sarah had left Baltimore after a difficult divorce to start over in the gentle surroundings of New Bern. Perhaps it is her own emotional wounds that make her sensitive to the hurt she first sees in Jonah's eyes, and then his father's. Tentatively, Sarah and Miles reach out to each other. Soon they are both laughing for the first time in years and falling in love. Neither will be able to guess how closely linked they are to a shocking secret, one that will force them to question everything they ever believed in, and make a heartbreaking choice that will be changed their lives forever. So that's A Bend in the Road. My favorite book ever. It's like a mystery, and I love mysteries. So that's really good. Next we have the famous The Notebook. the bottle could have ended up anywhere. Instead, it is found just 3 weeks after it begins its journey. Teresa Osborne, divorced and the mother of a 12-year-old son, picks it up during a seaside vacation from her job as a Boston newspaper columnist. Inside it is a letter that opens with, "My dearest Catherine, I miss you, my darling, as I always do, but today is particularly hard because the ocean has been singing to me, and the song is of our life together." For Garrett, the man who signs the letter, the message is the only way he knows to express his undying love for a woman he has lost. For Teresa, wary of romance since her husband shattered her trust, the message raises questions that intrigue her. Who are Garrett and Catherine? Where is he now? What is his story? Challenged by the mystery and pulled to find Garrett by emotions he does not fully understand, Teresa begins a search that takes her to a sunlit coastal town in an unexpected confrontation. Brought together by chance or something more powerful, Teresa and Garrett are people whose lives are about to judge for a purpose. And until Teresa resonates with her deepest hopes for finding that special someone and everlasting love. Let's mess it into a bottle. Next we have True Believer. Jeremy Marsh is the ultimate young New Yorker, handsome, almost always dressed in black and part of the media elite, an expert on debunking the supernatural with a regular column in Scientific American. He's just made his first appearance on national TV when he receives a letter from the tiny town of Boone Creek, North Carolina, about ghostly lights that appear in a legend-shrouded cemetery. He can't resist driving down to investigate. Here in this tightly knit community, Lexi Darrell runs the town's library, just as her mother did before the accident that left Lexi an orphan. Disappointed by past relationships, including one that lured her away from home, she is sure of one thing: her future is in Boone Creek, close to her grandmother and all the other people she loves. Jeremy expects to spend a quick week in the sticks before speeding back to the city, but for the moment he sets eyes on Lexi, he is intrigued and attracted to this beautiful woman who speaks with a soft drawl and confounding honesty. And Lexi, who hesitates to trust this outsider, finds herself thinking of Jeremy more than she cares to admit. Now, if they are to be together, Jeremy Marsh must make a difficult choice: return to the life he knows or do something he's never done before. Take a giant leap of faith. This is True Believer. Next we have At First Sight. There are a few things Jeremy Marsh was sure he'd never do. He'd never leave New York City, never give his heart away after barely surviving one failed marriage, and never become a parent. Now Jeremy's living in the tiny town of Boone Creek, North Carolina, engaged to Lexi Dornell, the love of his life, and anticipating his start with their family. But just as his life seems to be settling into a blissful pattern, a mysterious and disturbing email sets off a chain of events that will change the course of this young couple's marriage. How well do we really know each other? How well do we really know the ones we love? How do we handle the inevitable doubts, fears concerning parenthood, and stumbling blocks that are sometimes placed in our way? Continuing the story of the young couple introduced in Sparks' best-selling True Believer, this novel captures all the heartbreak, tension, romance, and surprises of those who are newlywed. And it's the haunting tale about love between a man and a woman, between a parent and a child. At First Sight is about endings that bring new beginnings, tragedies that lead to unexpected joy, and most of all, the magic of everlasting love. So that one's like a sequel to True Believer. So, yeah. Next we have The Guardian. Julia Baronson's young husband left her two unexpected gifts before he died: a puppy named Singer and the promise that he would always be watching over her. Now, 4 years later, 29-year-old Julie is far too young to have given up on love. She may be ready to risk caring for someone again, but who? Should it be Richard Franklin, the sophisticated, handsome engineer who treats her like a queen, or Mike Harris, the down-to-earth nice guy who was her husband's best friend? Choosing one of them should bring her more happiness than she's had in years. Instead, Julie is soon fighting for her life in a nightmare spawned by a child, chilling deception, and jealousy so poisonous that it is becoming murderous desire. The Guardian contains all the qualities we would expect from Nicholas Sparks, but here he adds new electrifying intensity and page after page of riveting suspense. And the last one I have today is The Last Song. This is one of my favorite movies. I haven't got to read it yet, but it's one of my favorite movies. It has Miley Cyrus in it, and I love her as an actress. 17-year-old Veronica Ronnie Miller's life was certain pianist and teacher is living a quiet life in the beach town, immersed in creating a work of art that will become the centerpiece of the local church. In the last song, Nicholas Sparks examines the love between parents and children. In First Love 2, as Ronnie learns the many ways to heal a broken heart. So that is the last song. Alright, my children, that is all the books I have today to show. As I said, I don't have Do We Kill My Brother, and I don't have the newest one he wrote. I forgot the title of it, but I don't have it yet. I will be buying it soon. And I'll probably be showing it in my newest book haul. If I do like a book haul of all my new books. So if you guys want to see them, give this video a thumbs up. Or comment below what you guys want to see. I do this all for fun and for relaxation purposes for you. If there's any videos you guys want to see, go ahead and give requests. If you want me to do another book haul, I have Daniel Steele, I have Susan Wiggs, I have Lavriel Spencer, Jude Deveraux, Lori Wick. I have a bunch of different books for Michaels that could do a bunch of hauls on them. Daniel Steele is probably